What is going on, everybody? I am Pitts from Pitts and Push Sports Talk Radio, Pitt Sports Zone, Bowie TV, coming to you live. I know it's been a minute. You ain't seen me. I ain't seen you. Missed you guys as well. But today we have a great show for you today. We have the 2024 CIAA Coach of the Year, Zadaisha. Wadell, how you doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you very much for joining me. It's a pleasure. So before we get started, right, I'm gonna jump into some icebreakers with you, okay? Kind of ease it up. So first, I'm gonna ask you, what is your favorite food?
Uh, my favorite food. I'm gonna go pizza.
You like pizza?
I like pizza.
Okay. What is your favorite color?
Purple.
Ooh,
Yeah,
royalty.
purple.
Okay. Lastly, what is your favorite NFL football team and your favorite player? Or who is your
Uh,
favorite NFL football team and who is your favorite player?
my favorite NFL football team would be the Pittsburgh Steelers. And honestly, I don't have a favorite player. I have a favorite coach though, and I mean it's
Well,
obvious.
who's your favorite coach?
Mike Tomlin.
You mean the one that got 17 seasons with no losing record, but still has never won Coach of the Year in the NFL? That
That
guy?
one. That guy.
I, I,
That guy.
I, I won't go too much into that because I know they're tired of me talking about that. But understand, y'all did hear what she said. It wasn't coerced. I didn't force her. So don't think there's a twist to it because me and Push are from Pittsburgh, and y'all know we rock everything Pittsburgh. She just like the best of the best. You can't hate her for what she likes. She likes what she likes. Zadaisha, congratulations, man.
Thank you.
Congratulations. Lincoln University, head softball coach for Lincoln University, 2024 CIAA Coach of the Year. When you got the call, or however the message got to you, what were your thoughts and emotions?
At first I was like, ain't no way. Ain't no way, it's only my second year doing this thing here at Lincoln. So I was just like, ain't no way. But once it really all set in, I was just like, I'm thankful for this. I'm thankful for my girls. They were a big
Yeah.
role in why I was even able to be nominated. So I definitely want to shout out them for
And before we delve more into the Coach of the Year award, if you can you give a little brief overview about yourself to our listeners and viewers? I know you played at North Carolina A&T, right?
Yes, I did. Aggie
Okay,
Pride.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Aggie Pride.
So if you can, go ahead and give our viewers and listeners a little bit about yourself.
All right. I'm from a small town in North Carolina, Troy, North Carolina, Montgomery County. Pretty much growing up for me, you didn't really see too many people like me play softball, especially
Mm,
from where I'm from. So to get the opportunity to go to A&T and to have, such an amazing career that I had there, it definitely, set me on my path of where I wanted to be, what I wanted to do.
yeah.
Um, I got my master's and my undergraduate both from A&T. I got my undergrad in criminal justice and my master's in adult education.
Okay.
Um, yeah. Uh, as soon after graduating, Coach Nakia Hall from Grambling, she called me up and asked me to be her pitching coach. Um, and that's how I got into this coaching thing. And I definitely want to thank her for giving me the opportunity and seeing a coach in me. Because I mean, without her, I wouldn't be here right now. But I was with her for 2 seasons, and then I got the call to come to Lincoln in 2023, and it's been up ever since.
Did you? Okay, so before I ask that question, HBCU, right? Was that first choice? Was that something that you wanted to do? Did you want to go to an HBCU?
Honestly, I didn't know anything about HBCUs at the time. Yeah, I had offers from Winston, Central, A&T, and all of that, but like I never actually sat down and did the research as to what an HBCU is and what it
Yeah.
stands for. So, once I got on campus and I saw the excellence, I saw the culture, I was just like, you know what, this is for me. This is definitely for me. And so I chose A&T.
So it's funny that you say that because that's part of the reason why I'm pushing that started the journey that we started with Pits and Push Sports Talk Radio. We started out first as just a regular audio podcast. You can find all of that on iHeart, iTunes, Spotify, Apple, Google. But then it became that notion like, listen, we're from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. When we were growing up, we were never told that we were never educated on HBCUs, right? We were always told that you got your Pitt, your Pitt, your Penn State, your Duquesnes, like all of those top schools, or JUCO, a junior college, like, but never was told anything about an HBCU. So
Mm-hmm.
that was one of the driving forces and why we decided to start being that gap and that bridge and that media of information when it comes to HBCUs. Because for me personally, I got tired of hearing the narrative from the outside. It's always people's perspectives that has never either attended an HBCU or does not cover them
Mm-hmm.
on a day-to-day basis. So instead of me, complaining about the outside noise, I decided to jump in the fray and wanted to be that inside voice. Not only that inside voice, but that inside exposure, that inside outlet that allows and affords individuals such as ourselves who didn't know anything about an HBCU and know that outside of those Power Fives and those PWIs, there are opportunities and
Mm-hmm.
there are institutions for people that look like us, that we feel comfortable in that environment.
Yeah, most definitely. Most
So I,
definitely.
I definitely appreciate you for sharing that. Shout out to Grambling. Shout out to the Tigers. So when you talk about, getting that opportunity, did you ever see yourself as a head coach?
No. Honestly, no, I did not. It actually took my best friend Chelsea Holiday, who coaches at Bluefield State right now. It actually took her to open my eyes to tell me, like, you can do this. Go do it. Go try it. I slapped the label of I'm young because this is really only my fourth year overall coaching. So I just slapped the label of you're young. I need experience. But she definitely told me, like, go out there, go get it. Like, trust yourself, and that's what I did.
It's dope that you have friends that that also sees your potential and is encouraging, and that doesn't mind helping push you um, into that lane, right?
Yeah.
Shout out to Coach Holiday at Bluefield State. She'll be a guest on soon as well. But that's good, right? Because we need more friends like that
Yeah.
can actually help us, show us what our true calling could be. And for that to be your fourth year, because you was 2 years pitching coach, right?
Mhm.
Last year was your first year. This year was your second.
Yeah.
So for that to be in your second full year, that has to be a tremendous feeling.
Yeah, it is. It makes it feel great. Like I know, like I'm on the right path.
Absolutely. Did you cry?
In private. In private, I did. I did. I had to keep a strong face in front of everybody. But as soon as I got back, cried
You
like a
going?
baby.
We said like on Friday, you gonna cry in the car.
Yeah, sure did.
What do you think when it comes to, since we're talking about HBCUs first, when you talk about not knowing, or not being, in our cases, I don't want to say educated, but not being informed of HBCUs, specifically for women in sports, right? What would you like to see the media exposure, not only just for HBCUs as a whole, but the media exposure for the women in sports for HBCUs?
I would definitely love to see, you know, just seeing us on the screen. I feel like the simple act of us being on the screen, it gives it a bigger view for the younger generation. Like going on TV and you're seeing people that look just like you playing the sport you love, like that matters and that makes the difference and that motivates kids and women, especially young girls, to continue to want to put HBCUs on the map, put women in sports on the map, and just we're always fighting for something at the end of the day. It'll be a different fight then, but we're
Yeah,
we're we're fighting the fight for you now. So
yeah.
when it's your time to put on for us, we know you will. We've given you the platform to do so.
When you talk about you as a person, right? From the player and the coach, um, how do you differ, right? Because as a player, it's that inside, like, so for me, for example, right? So I played baseball, um, and like right out of high school, I was invited to the Anaheim Angels and the Atlanta Braves tryouts, but I got hurt at Blue tryouts. So I had no other opportunities. And I think at that moment, that's when it taught me that the opportunities when it comes to even trying to advance yourself in a professional manner, that those opportunities and those windows are very slim. And if you don't maximize the opportunities, then they may never come around again. For you as a player, how do you differ? Because I know, coaching, you sometimes you see a play like how do you how do you differ the emotions from not channeling that inner player, but then channeling the coach?
For me, I had to realize that I can't put the glove on myself. So basically what I mean by that is we are all athletes at the end of the day. We're all trying to, reach a common goal. And at the end of the day, I know I may could have gotten that ball, but they're not me. And the only thing that I can do as their coach is to love them through that, support them,
Yeah,
show them that, hey, it's okay. You didn't get it this time, but all you got to do is learn from it. I tell my girls always there's a lesson in every failure, in
yeah.
every hardship. So just take the lesson and move forward from there.
When you talk about the beginning of this year, so let's take a step back and we go to the HBCU Challenge, the softball tournament in South Carolina. That's where I actually first met you and was introduced to you. What what advantages do that tournament give you as a head coach, especially coming into your second year before you head into conference play or those games that matter? Is there an advantage for such a tournament for you?
I feel like it is because it's the beginning of the year. Those freshman kids that you have coming in that's not used to playing in the HBCU world or playing the game of HBCU softball. It kind of gives them a preview for what's going to happen at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So, you get to go head to head against Tuskegee, Edward Waters, schools like that. So it gives you a chance to see how things can work out for you at the end.
Do you do you measure it? Um, do you measure it to your club and say, listen, this is a Division One. It's a SEAC, right? This is
Hmm.
supposed to be a step above when it comes to the division level, right? We'll just say it
Yeah.
that way. And the way your ladies are able to handle themselves, do you use it to say, listen, we played against teams that, like a Edward Waters, right, who was number one last year, and a Tuskegee who has been consistently dominant, and we were able to measure and level our play against them. Do you use that as a coaching tool for your players? Like, listen, you know, don't doubt yourself. We can
Hmm.
play regardless of what division or conference. Like, we are right there.
Yeah. So I definitely do use it as a tool, but I use it more of a confidence tool, like letting them know we can compete against these level schools. So,
Yeah,
Lincoln in the past, especially in softball, we haven't always had the greatest seasons or the greatest records or, even coming out on top in our own conference. We was always at the bottom of the hill trying to chase up. So, since I've gotten into this position, I just teach them to compete. You compete the same way they put their socks on, you do too. So I
yeah.
mean, it doesn't matter the school, it doesn't matter what they. It's a new year, it's a new day, and all we can do is control. We can control and compete.
How would you describe your coaching style?
Ooh, that's a good question. I would say I'm a tough coach. I'm a tough coach to play for. I'm not even gonna lie, sugarcoat it. Very disciplined coach, and I pay attention to the little things and the details. The details matter. Um, I already know. I tell my kids this daily. Not everybody can play for me, and that's okay. I'ma still love you. I'ma still teach you. I'ma still put you in the best situation possible. But not everybody knows how to take that tough love, especially when it's not from a parent. I'm going to get frustrated. I'm going to yell at you. But at the end of the day, I'm also going to motivate you. I'm going to push you, and I'm going to make sure that you come out on top. And at the end of
Yeah,
the day, as long as we have that understanding of that trust of,
yeah.
she got me, we got each other, we're going to be okay.
When you look at your team this year, you guys rank second. Going into the CIAA softball championship, right? The tournament. But before we get there, I think one thing that um, I had shared with a parent of another university, and what I've witnessed or realized from your team was that your team is never counted out, right?
Mhm.
And the reason why I say that is because, a lot of people that don't play baseball don't know how hard it is to mentally channel and to lock in when you're down 7-0 in the fourth inning, right?
Mhm.
So I was at the Bowie game. I was at Bowie when you guys played Bowie this year in a doubleheader, and the guys were down. And I watched, I want to say Chloe, and I watched the energy. It's kind of like sometimes you didn't have to say anything,
Mhm.
right? And even your assistant coaches, I watched the energy I give, and it was like it was never a hung head. It was never a moment where it was like defeated, right? Because
Yeah.
body language in baseball, it reads so vividly, right? You mess up, you got an E6, make a bad throw, you bobble the ball, right? Emotionally and mentally, it can really throw off your game. So where say it's your turn to come up and bat, you're still thinking about the errors you made in the field,
Mhm.
which affects. But I watched you guys come back in the Bowie game where I was down like 6 runs to come and to win the game. I think that too. Like, talk about the grit of your team. When you look at those moments and you say these are building pieces, and
Mhm.
these are those moments where we can look at ourselves and say, no matter what the score is, if we're down, we always can get back up.
Mhm. So, one of the things that I tell my kids is a mistake doesn't define who you are. And that really speaks volume in our sport because softball and baseball is a game of failure. And at the end of the day, you're going to lose more times than you win. But
Yeah,
as long as you have heart and you're ready to fight for what's yours, it'll come to you. So, like, definitely, I just keep them encouraged. Like, hey, we're good. We're moving on. We got the next one. It's not like I tell them. It's not about the error you made or what you did. It's about how you answer to it. And at the end of the day, you can have 6 errors in the field, but then you can
yeah.
also score 6 runs for your team to put us on top. So it's just how you answer to those losses.
You guys were down 7-0, fourth inning. I think it was the bottom of the fourth against Virginia State, right? Virginia State has the pitcher of the year. They got the player of the year. Like, they got the rookie of the year. They grabbed everything except coach of the year, right?
Hmm.
And I think up first was Chloe and home run, right?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it was Chloe or Kate.
It was
One, it
Caitlin Dove.
was Kate.
Caitlin
Right,
Dove.
Caitlin first, then Chloe, right?
Yeah.
7-0, fourth inning. Top of the fifth, 7-7.
Yeah.
Completely different ball
Different
game.
game.
Like, take us through those moments. Like, what was your thoughts and feelings during that moment? It's like, okay, like,
Oh,
they got it.
I was all over the place. I was about to say, you see me, coach. I'm jumping, I'm celebrating, I'm screaming right there with them. Really, I think the biggest turnaround was Caitlin Dove. When we got in our huddle before heading out to hit, she led the team and just telling them, hey, we have nothing to lose. We fought hard. We're fighting. We're still here. That if we're going to go down, we're going to go down smiling. We're going to go down swinging. We're going to go down happy. And that's that player leadership that
Yeah,
makes championships teams. Like that same message coming from me will not deliver the same coming from a leader on your team.
yeah.
So Caitlin Dove really set the tone for that. And the players locked in, and then it was up to Caitlin to prove what she said, and she did. She came out on top with a 3-1 blast. And then right after that, we had Chloe. Um, for Chloe, we just had to calm it down for us. Chloe's one of those energy kids, so we had to make sure that we had the right energy for her to
Okay.
prevail in that moment, and we quieted down. I don't know if you saw it, but I'm like, hey, let's calm it down for Chloe. Let her focus. Let her lock in, and we did that, and she did exactly what she needed to do. She hit the ball right over the fence.
I wasn't. I
So,
wasn't even able to actually. So I was actually on my. I was en route to the
okay.
to the game when it happened, and I'm like, and I'm just watching it, and inside, like, it's crazy. I was having that conversation with myself, and it's like it was like a calm, right?
Yeah.
And it was like they've been here before, right?
Mhm.
It may not be the same team, but they're battle tested. They've been here
Yeah.
before. And if there's anything, and I said this to Coach Powell, I was like, yo, if there's any team that I would pin as a threat, it would be Lincoln. And it's because no matter how much they're down, like it doesn't matter. Like
We gonna
you know,
fight.
they had that fight. You know, as much as I no, don't get mad at me. As much as I don't really care for Philly, you know, because they like little brothers of Pittsburgh, in my opinion.
Yeah,
But
I don't
they
know. I ain't
they
from
they,
here.
they carry that Philly, you know, that Philly swagger. Like you know, you could knock me down 10 times, but the 11th time I get up, it's going to be a different fight. So that was the I say that's commendous to you, you and your coaches for being able to and the leadership that because you know leadership starts from the top down. It flows, right? So if your
Yeah.
players see you panic, they panic. Your
Hmm.
players see you calm, they're calm. So you know, I'd say that's a tremendous. I'd say that's a reflection of you and your coaches and what you display to your young ladies.
Thank you.
You ladies had it was four all CIAA tournament, right?
Yes, four.
Four
We had.
players.
Hmm.
Talk about that. How did that feel knowing that you had four young ladies um, that were nominated and selected for the CIAA All Tournament team?
I mean, it speaks a lot. Lincoln don't make CIAA teams. Like we'll have one or two here or there spread out over a couple years, but to have four in one season, that just shows the effort and the time that my girls have really put into their game and protecting their craft. Um, Jordan Cappy, she got rookie all team. Ashley Stringer, she got rookie all team. Tia Brown got second team, and Aaliyah Rose
Hmm.
got first team. So the fact that we could, be spread across the board, we're building something here. It's
Yeah,
We're building something.
and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm learning, but I don't, you know. But Jordan shortstop, right?
She played shortstop, but that is not her position. She played
Oh,
out
so
of position all year long,
oh
and she did a
wow,
good job. You couldn't even tell, huh?
nah. And
Yeah.
Tia's
So
first base, right?
Tia's first base pitcher.
Okay, okay. Wow, I didn't know she wasn't a shortstop.
Yeah, Jordan was recruited for third in pitching, and we had a couple people fall off along the way, and Jordan was there, stepped up. I mean, she might not have liked it, but she did it, and she did a job there, and it just shows you the type of athletes that we have here at Lincoln. Like we're gonna do what needs to be done for our team, whether we like it or not, and she did a good job there for us.
Absolutely. Shout out to the Lincoln Lion ladies softball team and shout out to the four young ladies who made the All CIAA tournament team. If I can ask you to describe Lincoln in one word, what would it be?
Um, I would have to say resilient. Resilient. We're gonna fight. We've and this is all athletic programs across the board. We've always had to fight for some
Yeah,
respect on our name, especially in the CIAA. It sucks to say that, but we definitely have had to fight for the little things. Um, and we've had to do a lot of losing to get to where we are now. So just being resilient and knowing that it's all our hard work is going to pay off. It may not
yeah.
be here, we may not see it now, but for the future to come, we're definitely going to be out on top. And I mean that, like I said, that goes across all programs. Like our football team, they've had a good last season. Our men's basketball team, number one in the North, they got
They
they won
won.
actually.
They
Well, they
they
won the
won the
CI. Yeah,
CIAA tournament.
they won the CIAA
Not
tournament.
only that, and the quarterback from last year was actually
Yeah,
CIAA Isaiah, I think, right?
Zayball, Isaiah Freeman.
Yeah, yeah,
And then prior to that, the women's basketball team won in the North and the actual championship. So, I mean, the fruits of our labor is showing. It's just one sport at a time. We are on our way up.
yeah, yeah. It shows the tradition and it shows
Yeah.
the trajectory of Lincoln University. I know you've only been there for 2 years, but what does Lincoln mean to you?
Um, Lincoln means history to me. Honestly, it's the first. If you're the first, we put everybody. I ain't gonna say we put everybody on the map, but we definitely started it,
We
especially
put
by
everybody on
being.
notice.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Nah, pop that collar. We
Yeah,
put
nah,
everybody
nah.
on notice.
Nah, I'm definitely not gonna do
Say what
that.
you mean and mean what you say.
Yeah,
I said for her. They put everyone on notice in the CIAA, not just
yeah,
softball, but basketball, football as well, in addition to other sporting
Yeah.
athletic programs.
Yeah, the first is coming. Like we coming.
What type of style players are you looking for to fit in your program, or what type of players do you look for?
I look for players with grit. Um, Players that's gonna talk their junk and back it up too. Because at the end of the day, that's what softball is. You know, we have cheers to get in your head. The cheers be cutthroat, but at the end of the day, you can't teach heart. You can't teach, grit. So I look for players that kind of have that in them already.
I'm a keep it all the way on it. Listen, if if the opposing team was saying some of the stuff that y'all say during the game, when you
Yeah,
talk about a mental block, like
yeah.
you have to mentally be in tune with, like,
You got to be locked in.
man,
Locked in.
cause I'd be like, dang, did they just say
I mean, even on third, I'd be like, ooh. Like,
that? But the chairs is like that though. Like don't get me wrong. It's sometimes like, I told Coach Powell, it's sometimes that I found myself humming some of the chants and I ain't heard it in weeks. And I'm like,
yeah.
wait, where did that come from? Why am I chanting it? Would it be
Hmm.
so catchy?
Yes. And it'd be on point too. You're like, where'd you even come up with that? Like,
Oh man. All right. So to wrap you up, if you can, so you know, well, before I ask this last question, how many returning players and how many players are you losing for next year?
I only lost one. I had one senior, Mackenzie Rashid.
Wow.
Yeah. I only lost one.
So you come back fully loaded.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep. Definitely will be. Just
Wow.
got to
That
add those missing pieces from this year and we're good. Yep.
for a student athlete, young lady out there, right? And I ask this a lot, and a lot of people be like, "Why do you ask that question?" It's because I want to give the opportunity for you to coach, to speak to any young lady who's playing softball and is looking for a softball home, and and she feels that she fits what Lincoln is and who Lincoln is. What would you say to that player?
I would honestly just tell them, if Lincoln feels like home, then it's home. You know, um, don't question it. Reach out to me, email me, call me. My number's up on the website. It's everywhere. I definitely know a lot of kids reach out to me via Instagram. I don't really be on. I about to say Twitter. It's X now. I don't really be on X like that, but I definitely do be on Instagram. So if you feel like Lincoln is a fit for you, DM me, reach out to me, um, and we can just take it from there a day at a time.
Your 2024 CIAA Coach of the Year, Zadaisha Waddle. Thank you very much. It was great having you. I enjoyed it. I look for many more. I expect to see you guys again, hopefully before then, but for sure, in South Carolina for the HBCU
Hmm.
Roundtable Tournament again. And thank you for all that watch. For anybody that wants to get in contact with you, can you just shout out your your social media tag name or whatnot that they can reach you at?
Yeah, it's underscore Coach Z with two H's.
Two H's.
Yep.
That mean holla at her. Appreciate you, Coach, man. I am your host, Pitch from Pitch Sports Zone, Pitch and Push Sports Talk Radio, Bowie TV. You can find us on Comcast Channel 77, Verizon Channel 11, everywhere podcasts, iHeart, Spotify, iTunes, Apple, Google. Get at us. We everywhere in the CIAA. You never know where you're going to find us. Coach, thank you for taking this time to sit down with us and enjoy the rest of your evening.